First video of 2025, and I thought I would kick off this year by going over my profit and loss statement from 2024. As always, if you hear any loud noises or screams or anything, my son is in the room in the living room with my mom, so there may be some noises going on in the background. But I am going to screen capture right now my profit and loss statement for 2024 and go over everything in detail on how much we made, where we earned everything, expenses, and everything like that. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So let's first go over all the streams of income. If you haven't seen any of my previous year's profit and loss statement videos, I do have multiple streams of income. So all of this is everything that I've made money with throughout the year. So it's not just my candle business. I do have other streams, including YouTube, affiliate marketing, Etsy sales, digital product sales, sponsorship income. So there's different things that kind of encapsulate the entire amount that we earned in the year of 2024. So going over everything. So for affiliate commissions, it was $7,393.09. And most of this comes from Amazon affiliates as well as Inventora. Probably a little bit of replica surfaces and maybe a couple of other things sprinkled in there. But my two biggest affiliate partners, if you will, is Amazon and Inventora. And Inventora is my inventory software, which I know you guys have been asking, and I need to do an updated video on Inventora to just kind of show you through the back end on how we go about using it, because we literally use it every single day. The next one is Etsy sales. So this is my digital products from Etsy and perhaps a little bit of my candles as well, since I recently had gotten back on Etsy and we've been getting more regular sales lately through Etsy because I actually have been getting more of my full catalog on there. It's not completely 100% done yet, but it's getting there and it's a lot better than what it was. I think for a little while there, I had maybe a dozen products on there and it was hardly anything. So for Etsy, it was $1,487.42. And then for the biggest source of income, as you can see, and that is Fair Wholesale. Fair has been just such a blessing for us. We are so appreciative of Fair. Every single sale that we get, we're so appreciative of it. And it has just been the best thing that's happened to our business. So we got started back on, it was July of 2023, because I was still pregnant and it was right before I gave birth. So it was mid-July of 2023 that we got on Fair, and it has now been, about a year and a half-ish that we've been on Fair, and it has just been so good to us. And so the total amount that we earned after the fees, so if you go on to Fair, which I will do a separate video on what we actually earned gross wise for the year, it was $74,003. So you can kind of do the math there to see how many fees and everything were taken out. But we had a goal of hitting 75,000 and we were so close to hitting it, but it still feels like we did, because it's just kind of blew our minds on what we were able to do on the Fair platform last year. But in terms of what hit the account was $64,331.74. And again, it's like mind blowing. It's amazing. So grateful for that. And then Kajabi is the platform that I use to host all of my digital products. Of course, there's a lot of beeping going on outside. So it's what I use to host ericamariemorris.com. So I have my digital products, the ultimate guide to starting a candle business. I have my shipping course. I have my candle business workbook. I have different other digital products that I'm going to be including on there as well. And this is just kind of supplemental income. This is just additional income to kind of help out in the gaps of life and paying for everything. Again, when you are having a home-based business and you are living off of solely your business income and being an entrepreneur and not having like a stable W-2 job, I'm trying anything I can to make as much money as I can online and try to diversify things. So I have my digital products on Etsy, which is MBCC Designs, and those are where I sell my candle label designs. So like the warning label templates are the most popular, and then I also have other designs on there like candle labels, wax melt labels, and just candle care cards. stuff like that that you can use for your own business. But that brought in a little over $17,000 for last year. So $17,114.20, which again is amazing. And then for Shopify, this is strictly just the handle business. So this is retail sales. So that brought in $26,395.03. And as you can see, there is a big difference between retail and wholesale. We went so much into wholesale last year that retail kind of took a little bit of like a backseat. But my hope for 2025 is to really bring up this number a lot. I would love to get to between 40 and 50,000 for the year of 2025. And then for wholesale, I mean, we did 75,000. It would be amazing if we could hit 100. I set the bar really high for 2024 thinking, okay, yes, 75,000 in gross sales. And we almost did it. So I'm thinking that we can do even more for 2025. And I have such like good feelings for the year. I'm so excited for that. But yeah, I really want to bump up this number because I know that we can do it. And then sponsorship income was $1,250. So I didn't do a lot of sponsorships for 2024. To be honest, you guys, I'm not a huge fan of doing sponsorships. Like I do them occasionally, and there's a handful of ones that like I will do no matter what, because I am like, yes, that is a company that I continuously use, like Inventora and Online Labels. And, you know, if there's a handful of candle suppliers that I do a sponsorship with, that is, you know, it makes sense for the channel that I would include that on there. But for the most part, it's not like a huge part of my like YouTube career, if you will. But if there comes an opportunity that makes sense for me in this channel, I'll most likely do it. But again, it just depends on if I actually think that the product is good or the company is good, or, you know, whatever it may be. And then YouTube income was definitely a lot less than last year. So I think the year before it was in the 30s, and then the year before that it was in the 40s. So YouTube income has been on a downward trajectory, which is okay because it's allowed me the freedom and the time to really build up all these other streams of income. So the way that I've seen it is that if you're working really hard on a stream of income, sometimes the other ones will kind of take a back seat, or if you're working on multiple, whichever one it is, you can't have all of these be at their peak at the same time, because it's just not possible with the amount of time that you have available to put towards everything. At least me being a mom right now, I really don't have all the time in the world to be putting 100% effort into affiliate marketing, wholesale, my digital products, retail, sponsorship, and putting out YouTube videos constantly. It just would be too overwhelming. And overall, I'm super excited and happy with this number, $25,477.73. I mean, there's no way I could even complain about that number. And we'll see what it's like for 2025. I have a feeling it might be probably a little bit lower than that. Actually, I know that it's probably gonna be lower than that unless something changes in YouTube, or unless I figure out a different way of putting out videos or content that brings in more views. But I'm really just here to share things, not necessarily obsessing over the amount of views that I'm getting. But I will say that because I've taken a step back with YouTube, it's given me so much more freedom. It's brought me back to being excited to make videos, and the videos that I do create, I do really enjoy it, instead of just feeling like, okay, I got to put out like 2 to 3 videos a week. So I'm definitely feeling a lot better about that. So the entire year of 2024, the total was $143,449.21. I can't even believe this number right now. When I was looking at this number, I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is a pretty big jump from last year. And again, I'm going to be making a video where I break down the differences from 2020 to 2024, because I have all of my profit and loss statements from those years of income. And it's just amazing. I'm just so grateful for that. And it just feels like, oh my gosh, it doesn't feel that way, because when you're looking at that, you're like, oh my gosh, that is like a really high amount to be brought in. But then when I think about all the amount spent on expenses and living, and it's really ends up being not that much because of all the expenses to keep things going. But if we look down at everything, so if we look down at cost of goods sold, so cost of goods sold was $31,625.46. So these are all the supplies. So wax and jars and wicks and everything that goes into the physical cost of goods of the products that we are selling. So I actually realized and figured out how to put it in the correct category. Before last year, oh, you know what? Look at this, candle cost of goods. I have to go in and change that. I have to go in and put all of that into here. So it's actually more of like 32,800 or 700. Looks more like that. Anyways, this all kind of goes into the expenses, but this was the separate category that I created, was candle cost of goods, and I should have put an S at the end of COGS right there. But I realized that this was actually a category that was already put into QuickBooks. So I actually just, decided to do that because it made more sense, because you're able to see, how much you earn and then subtract it of the actual cost of goods. So it goes over the gross profit on everything. But the way that I look at it is most of these things that I'm using goes into actually, running the business. So when you're looking at these totals down here, so if we go over all the numbers, so if we're looking at expenses, so advertising and marketing, $29.26. So a lot of this has to do with like business cards and any kind of services that I utilize, like photographers, I put into advertising and marketing, any kind of like flyers or postcards or anything that we add into orders. I pay the person that I use on Fiverr to do the mock-up designs for my photos. So that goes into the advertising and marketing category. And then bank charges and fees. This is a little bit higher than I think it typically is, most likely, or that I think it typically is than previous years. And that's because I had to actually stop a couple of transactions from being pulled because I accidentally went to pay the IRS when I meant to pay the state. So I had to call my bank and have them stop the payment because I'd rather pay for the fee on that than actually have to wait and get a refund from the IRS. Next category is charity donations. So we as a company now donate a portion of our sales to Project NICU. So it is a NICU foundation to help give support to families that are currently experiencing the NICU with their newborn baby. And that, along with a couple of GoFundMe donations as well, was a total of $589.16. And then filming/photo equipment, I believe this is probably just some SD cards or something like that I was needing for the year. And then insurance, this is just business insurance, so $461.32. Job supplies, I feel like this category and office supplies can kind of go hand in hand. Sometimes when I'm doing my own bookkeeping, I'm trying to categorize things the best that I can, and probably what categorized as job supplies could just go under office supplies. So I think he's pushing around a chair right now. So job supplies, it was $141.74. And then Kajabi's website. So this is just the hosting platform, again, for this right here. So $17,114 is how much I made. And then in order to keep the website going every month was $2,189. So not bad if you look at the differences to pay that much, but then to make that much on the platform, I mean, pretty good, because it is $200 a month. So it's quite a bit a month, but it is worth it. And then legal professional services. I think this was all just getting my taxes done and then paying for like a business maintenance plan with my attorney, which I most likely won't do for 2025. And then office supplies. So this is the big one. This is everything that we use to keep things going with packing and shipping and supplies. I mean, pictures and tape, and it's just everything. There's a lot that goes into it. So that was $7,589.86. And other business expenses, I think this was just kind of miscellaneous stuff, like maybe my yearly UPS, business mailbox, just things like that that just come up. So that was $929.32. PayPal fees was $601.14. And then payroll expenses, this is what I pay myself throughout the year because I have an S corporation with Memory Box Candle Co. I, as the owner, am an employee of my own company, so I do have to run payroll on myself. So these are the taxes, the employer taxes that I paid throughout the year, and then the wages that I paid from Memory Box Candle Co. to my personal checking account as the employee that was paid. And so total expenses for that was $18,629. And then shipping labels. So these are all the shipping labels that we paid in order to get things shipped out. Now, this is not including wholesale. If it was including wholesale, it'd probably be a much bigger number, but we use Fairs shipping, so we don't actually have to have any money taken from our bank account out. Everything is just kind of done on their end, and we don't have to worry about it. We just print off the labels, and it's amazing. But for retail, it was $5,306.49. And then this is the monthly Shopify payment. So this is the base payment for the hosting platform of Shopify, plus the apps that I use, all totaled up for the year. So that was $1,349.31. And then software and subscriptions. This is something that I feel like I need to make a lot lower for the year, to be honest. I'm really trying to go through and be like, okay, what do I absolutely need and what do I not need? Because there's a lot of expenses here. So if we're looking at software and subscriptions, that's $2,467.87. And I do have quite a bit of subscriptions, but what's hard is I use them all. So I don't know. I have to kind of see I just have to take a look at what exactly I'm spending money on, because I use Canva all the time. I have the pro version of Canva. I have my yearly tap link, which is the link that I use in the bio of Instagram. I have my QuickBooks subscription, which I utilize that. And I even looked into seeing if I really needed to pay for everything I was paying for, and I do because I have to run payroll on myself. So there's just a lot of things there that I'm like, I feel like I gotta look and see. Taxes and licenses, this just has to do with like estimated taxes and different things paid throughout the year. And then total expenses, $50,601. So if we add these two together, that and that, we're looking at a little over $80,000 in expenses, which again seems crazy to spend that much in a year. Oh my gosh, sounds so crazy, but it's the cost of growing the business. We're really in a lot of the growing phase still with the business, but this year we were barely profitable. If you're looking just at our total income that we earned from the candle business, so if we're adding those two together and then subtracting the cost of goods sold, I'd have to probably take away the Kajabi website because that's not part of the candle business in terms of the actual like expenses. And yes, wages are an expense of the business, but technically, okay, they are an expense, but I am getting that money back. It's not like we're giving that money to like the IRS or anything like that. Like we're actually getting that money. So if you do the math with all of that, it's technically our first profitable year to where the income we earned with our candle business was more than the expenses that we put out. Now, when you're looking at everything, yeah, it's kind of like a tight margin. I'll put up the math right here because I haven't done it yet. But it is definitely still profitable. And I'm hoping we can continue on that trajectory because that has always been the goal, was to actually be profitable, but it's taken a long time to get there because of the amount of expenses we have to put into. And my camera just cut out. I don't remember where I ended, but I think I was just talking about how exciting it is to actually be profitable for 2024. I'm really excited for 2025 and all of the following years because I just am hoping that we will keep growing that number more and more. And yeah, I know that there's expenses that come with an inventory-based business. It is what it is. But overall, I'm super excited for the way that 2024 ended up. And I really hope you enjoyed today's video, just taking a look at the back end of my profit and loss statement of how much we made, how much we spent, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for watching today's video and for tolerating all of the noise going on in the background. It is what it is, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.